everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ksenia and here I am talking about process of making my comics and share my thoughts about making digital comics in general. Let's talk about switching from traditional comics to digital. I will talk about making comics because that's the thing that I'm most familiar with, but everything can be also applied for manga. I think these terms are self-explanatory. But in case you don't know, traditional way of making comics is the one where you use pen and paper. And of course, it can be more than just pen and paper. Artists are using various tools and media to create comics, but the most important part here is that it doesn't involve the computer until the very last steps. And in contrast, digital comics making process involves computer, tablet or other digital devices from the very first stages of the project. Of course, process can be mixed as well. Some people do pencils on paper and then prefer to color pages digitally. Also, multiple people can be involved in the process and everyone has different preferences. But let me explain why I prefer making my comics digitally. There are a lot of advantages in working digital on your comics. For example, history function. History function is a lifesaver. You can always roll back any changes and go 100 steps back if you feel like it. But your canvas will be completely intact. You're probably already familiar with layers, but if not, you can imagine them as transparent sheets of paper which you can stack one over the other and do different parts of your drawing on them. You can have lines and colors separately, but also you can have different characters on different layers, so you can move them freely and achieve the best composition. In addition to that, Clip Studio Paint has Layer Comps function, which allows you to immediately switch between different versions of same illustration. More freedom and less stress, that's for sure. Also, you don't have to stick with your creative decisions. If you want to go from color to black and white or switch from page format to webtoon, you can do that without any problems. Using vector lines for your inking, you can scale it up and down without losing any line quality. You can also work on multiple devices, switching between laptop and tablet. In addition to that, you won't lose any pages because they are stored in cloud. My favorite advantages of working with Clip Studio Paint is their asset store. You can basically find everything there, starting from brushes to 3D models to image materials, and a lot of them are free. In addition to that, you can create assets for your own project and save them as a material. If there is something you will draw a lot, like part of the costume or a background, you should definitely do that. Let me walk you through the process of working on your comics or manga in Clip Studio Paint. First, let's click on the button New and create a new project. We will get a window with the settings. Here we have multiple options: illustration, vertical format comics like webtoons, standard comics and manga, etc. We will select Comics option. Here we have a list of presets. You can select color or monochrome options and specify page size as well. A4 and A5 are standard sizes for European comics, and B4 and B5 more popular for manga. But all these page sizes have similar height to width ratio, so my suggestion would be to think about your target size and pick one step larger. For example, draw on A3 canvas for A4 final product. This way you can scale your pages down without losing any quality. For my comics, I'm using A4 format, but I have higher number of DPI dots per inch, so I have more pixels to work with. Also, from the beginning, we can specify number of pages. Note that we have 1 and 2 pages, and then number increases by 4 and 8. Because to print your comics, the number of pages has to be a multiple of 4. If you don't know how long your chapter is going to be, it's not a problem. You can always add or delete pages later. You can specify the type of binding, like on the left side for European and American comics, or on the right side for manga. You can add cover pages if you want, and specify different DPI for it. You can specify story information like author and title here, but when you will export all of the pages later, Clip Studio Paint will ask you to check this information again. When you are satisfied with everything, Here, press OK button and you will get a comics document. So now we have new comics with 12 pages without any cover. Basically, this is a root file which has a link to all pages, and every page is stored in a separate file, so you can move or copy-paste these files as well. Now double-click on the page and start drawing. You can simply start drawing here as you would do on the paper, but in Clip Studio Paint there are a lot of manga and comic specific features. One of them is frames. What frame does? It creates a masked folder with layers inside it, so whatever you draw in these layers will stay inside of the frame. It is useful for scenes where you don't want frames to overlap. Bonus tip: if the border of the frame is visible, it is counted as a reference when you are using the bucket tool. Another important feature is balloon. There is a standard rounded and elliptical balloons, and you can type inside of them. But also there is a balloon pen, and you can draw your own balloons around the text. You can edit it after that, simplify vector lines, move or delete any points of the line, etc. So basically you can fix anything that you didn't like. I do prefer to draw balloons on my own, because I like to be in control of the shape. But in the end, there is no need to go the whole way from the beginning. You can still draw the sketch traditionally and ink it digitally later, or ink traditionally as well and color digital, or do the whole page on the paper and do lettering in Clip Studio Paint. You do you. And if you want to see how I post 3D characters for this page, check my previous video. I hope this video was useful for you, and I would love to see you again.